work done from them or influence them to get the work done. Hi, my name is Kavita Sharma. I'm the author of Pass PMP in 21 Days series. Today, I'm gonna talk about MBTI, how it has taken the shape, what it is right now. I will also give you some tips to understand people and their different traits. And at the end, we're gonna be talking about 6 scenarios and understanding what are different traits of those people. So, PMP style of questions. So let's get started. MBTI or Myers-Briggs Type Indicator is an assessment developed by the daughter and the mother, also called Isabel Meyer, who was the mother, and Catherine Briggs, she was the daughter. What they did was they looked at Carl Jung theories, and there's a book written by Carl Jung called Psychological Types. Who's Carl Jung? Carl Jung was a psychoanalyst. He wrote the book Psychological Type and many other books. One of the influencers to arrive at why people behave the way they behave. So let's get started with Myers-Briggs Type Indicator or MBTI. 4 dimensions: extraversion versus introversion, sensing versus intuition, thinking versus feeling, judging versus perceiving. If you want to know what is your personality type, my recommendation is you can do a search on MBTI, and then you're gonna see a lot of personality assessment. One of the personality assessment which is free and I like it, you can go to 16personalities.com and do your personality check. There are certain questions which are asked. Pay a lot of attention, give those answers. And then other is this is mybridge.org. This is paid personality test. So the first aspect is, how do I gain energy? If you look at extraversion or introversion, it is people, it is a scale of, you can be an extrovert, extreme extrovert, or you can be extreme introvert, or people can be in between. Sometimes you want to go out, have parties, sometimes you want to live alone. So we call it the first. See, I can write with both of my hands, but which one do I prefer? It's like this. So what is your primary side and what is your auxiliary or secondary side? So primarily extroverts, their automotive is people. They like to be with people, gain energy from the environment. These are by default trusting nature. They would go and talk to people, work with them. These type of people are talk first and think later. They have many people to socialize with. They have wider interest. Introvert, on the other hand, is they gain energy from being alone. They would want to be alone at specific point of time. They think first and talk later. They have their family and friends as close set of trusting circle, and they energize their time being alone. The second aspect is, how do I see the world? So the people around me, how do I perceive that information? Some people process the information as is. So these are sensing people. These are also called realist. You know what is going on around you. They look at that data, they look at details, they have facts and details with them. They draw their experiences from the past or actual. So you would have keyword called actual data, um, past experiences, and they are also like to call themselves as realist. So what can be possible by looking at your performance? You can do only this. There are some people who lives on intuition. They do not look at the current data, current performance. They look at what could be possible. So the keyword for this is possibilities. By looking at the current trend or current data, what are the possibilities? So they are looking at bigger picture. They would arrive at sixth sense or gut feel. So some of the visionary, you would call them visionary or leaders, these people are gonna look at the current trends and they're gonna say, okay, by looking at this, I think we are the nation with most natural talent, or they also talk in terms of metaphors and patterns, and they can connect between the ideas. So the key word here is possibilities. These are the people who live in future. Making decisions, how do you arrive at a decision? So thinkers or logic thinkers are, so there are two type of people. The people who are objective, they would look at the data and they say you need to do this. So if a decision has to be taken, these are logic oriented or left hand side people, left hand brain side of people. There are some people who are feelers. These are the people who would look at people themselves. Their decision would change on the people around themselves. So they are more subjective in nature. So there is no set criteria or rules. It changes with people. For thinker, it has to be objective. They don't like subjectivity. Things should not change based on if a person is your friend, if a person comes from poor background. But for feelers, it should change because the person needs some concession. So feelers like to call themselves as understanding and fair, wherein thinkers like to call themselves as reasonable and fair. For thinkers, things are either true or false, Boolean. For feelers, things are not Boolean. It is on a scale, it's on gradient, how good you are or how bad you are. It's a scale. A person cannot be absolute good or bad. That is for feelers. Judging or perceiving is the next aspect, wherein judging is having a sense of control. I get up in the morning, I need to have my cup of tea and I need to do XYZ thing. This is a trait of a judging person. Perceiving, on the other hand, are flexible. They are more open. They do not have plans in place. They would go with the flow. So for them, play and work together comes hand in hand. Wherein for a judging person, they are planners. They would like to do things. They would like to close things. For perceiving people, they would want to keep the things open, and they would, because it's not just because they are lazy, but because they would have, few more options might open up. So judging might not like perceiving people, and perceiving might not like judging people. If you become too judging, again, as I said, this is a scale. If you are too judging, you would be controlling people. So you would be looked at as a controller. And if you are too perceiving, you would be looked at like lazy person. So you need to strike a balance in between. You need to know what you are first and then live accordingly. So let me do a recap. Extroversion is, let's talk about it. These are the people who gain energy by talking or meeting with people. So the keyword is, let's have people around ourselves. Introvert is people who want to stay with themselves. So let me think through and come back. That is what an introvert gonna say. Sensing are the people who gonna be looking at all the facts, perceiving data. Intuition's gonna be looking at what are all the possibilities, future. Thinking are people who would say, let's keep it at, there has to be some set of rules. Let's keep it objective as per the rule. But feelers are, they would be more focused on people. They would say, okay, everybody is not, you can't judge everybody on the same scale. People are different, their circumstances are different. So let's focus on people. Judging are more planners, and they are more in hurry with the plan. They like to close, they like to arrive to a decision. Wherein perceiving people, they want to have their options open. So they would say, okay, let's wait and have our options open. Understand there are no good or bad styles. Each type is equally valid. No one is better than another. Any type can do any job. This is most important. However, we are comfortable with doing the job, the kind of personality we have. For example, if I am an introvert, an easier job to do for me is individual contributor, maybe a programmer, maybe a writer. If I am an extrovert, I would like to be with people, so I may be more comfortable interacting with people, being a manager, and so on. Everyone is a mix of styles, so it is difficult to understand people. And people might not have extreme personalities, people might have a personality in between, somebody could be an extrovert at some point of time, an introvert at some point of time. So it's difficult to read people. Let's understand whether you have got the understanding of various characters and traits or not. So let's get started. Rachel is creative and loves to hear feedback on her work. She's a UI, user interface designer. She's outgoing and a good communicator. People like her. She likes to go with the flow rather than working towards a schedule. Inspiration can strike at any point of time. So that is Rachel. So find out two personality traits of Rachel. So is she extrovert or introvert? Have we got any keyword here? Creative, loves to hear feedback. Outgoing is one keyword which you have got. Good communicator is a skill. She likes to go with the flow rather than working towards a schedule. There is no decision. So she's an extrovert. That is something which we have got. Sensing, intuitive, we have not looked at how does she perceive the world around herself, so that is information we do not have. How do she decide on a particular decision, that is information we do not have. However, we know that she goes with the flow, so she is perceiving rather than judging. So these are the two traits which we are aware about Rachel. Let's look at Tom. Tom is known as people's manager. He got to know that one of the team members is facing some challenges at home, so he considered that fact while assigning the work. He parties with the team and invites the families over. Personal connect with everyone is his forte. People just love him. How do you classify Tom? Select two. So, the first thing which you know about Tom is people's manager. People love him. People just love him. He considers the fact that there is somebody who's having challenges at home. So he's more of a feeler. And then he decides on the work allocation. People connect is forte. So he's an extrovert as well. We've got no other information about other things. So he's an extrovert and feeler. These are the two things about Tom. Have you got the same thing? Okay, let's look at Monica, and I'm gonna wait for you to decide on this. Monica prepares a list of prospective promotion for the current year. She prepared a criteria based on past projects and organization policy. She observed and collected data from the server, for example, milestone met, on time, etc. After doing all the analysis, she proposed three names. Identify Monica's personality traits. So, we are not able to get anything whether she's an introvert or extrovert. Um, she is preparing a list of prospective promotions. So we're looking at, she's gathering data. How is she gathering data? Based on past projects, organization policy. She collected data on the past performance objective, and then after doing all the analysis, she proposed three names. So she's not subjective, she's not looking at people history or anything. She has a set criteria. She's looking at the current data and past data, which is like sensing, and she has come out, she has decided based on a set criteria or objective criteria. So here you can see two traits which are sensing and thinking. No, nothing about the criteria change because people were facing problem or people were very good with other people, nothing like that. No intuition. So we have these two traits of sensing and thinking. Moving on, let's look at Roy. Roy is a travel enthusiastic. He loves to travel and talk. He makes friends without any effort. If you discuss any place with him, he would have all the information like what's nearby, good weather, what to eat and what to drink and how to reach. So let's look at the keywords. He loves to work and talk, extrovert. He makes friends. If you discuss a place with him, he would have all the information. So sensing, lot of information. And it does not talk about how does he decide, does not talk about people feeling, blah blah blah, judging, perceiving, no. So we have these two traits for Roy. Let's look at the next one. Lee is a person who is hardly noticed by people in the first meeting, quiet and reserved. He understands people's emotions and supports them. He let the others drive the discussion and rarely speaks. So the one thing which come out here in the scenario, Lee is an introvert. Any other criteria which you see? Nothing about judging and perceiving. He understands people emotions and supports them. So he's more of a feeler type. Nothing about how does he perceive the world around him. So we have two keywords, introvert and people person. Let's look at the last one.
Jobs, then all of 24, had a privileged invitation to visit Xerox PARC.
And they showed me really three things. But I was so blinded by the first one that I didn't even really see the other two. One of the things they showed me was object-oriented programming. They showed me that, but I didn't even see that. The other one they showed me was really a networked computer system. They had over 100 Alto computers, all networked, using email, et cetera, et cetera. I didn't even see that. I was so blinded by the first thing they showed me, which was the graphical user interface. I thought it was the best thing I'd ever seen in my life. Now, remember, it was very flawed. What we saw was incomplete. They'd done a bunch of things wrong, but we didn't know that at the time. It's still, though, they had the germ of the idea was there, and they'd done it very well. And within, 10 minutes, it was obvious to me that all computers would work like this someday.
So, can we identify is he extrovert or introvert? We can't identify by watching at this clip. Is he sensing or intuitive? What is he looking at? He's looking at data and talking about future. So he's an intuitive person. Thinking or feeling, we don't know. Nothing comes out like that. Judging and perceiving, nothing. How does he live his life? Doesn't come out like that. So what comes out very, very clear is he's an intuitive person. That's the one trait which you can notice. I hope you like the video. My name is Kavita Sharma and I can be reached at kavita@kavitasharma.net. If you want to enroll for any of my workshop, visit to my website and I'll be happy to answer any questions. Thank you and have a very nice day. Bye-bye.